welcome to this week's What's for Dinner video. My name is Ashley. I'm going to be showing you 3 different meals I made this past week. I don't always follow recipes exactly, but if you're interested, I've linked some similar recipes down below. So the first dinner I'm going to be showing you is something that I absolutely love. I made some Southwest queso chicken taquitos. So I'm starting off with the ingredients that I'm going to be mixing in the chicken mixture for the taquitos. So I'm just taking 1 large poblano pepper and I'm just going to dice these up into small little pieces. I do like poblano peppers because they're not too spicy, but they do add a little kick. So I'm a huge shredded lettuce fan. I love shredded lettuce in like burritos, on top of things, in things. So I'm going to use this lettuce to top the taquitos for a little bit of a crunch. So next I just took the chicken out of my Instant Pot. I just cooked it on high pressure for about 18 minutes. So I'm just going to take all of that chicken and shred it up. I did make a lot of chicken because we were having leftovers the next day. So next I'm just going to start adding everything to the chicken and seasoning it. So first I'm going to add in my poblano peppers and some corn and black beans, and I'm just going to mix that all together. So next I'm going to add in some cream cheese. I am a huge fan of cream cheese. I love the flavor and the creaminess it gives to a lot of dishes. So I did slightly season the chicken before it went in the Instant Pot, but I'm just going to season again with a little bit more cumin and some of that leftover water from the Instant Pot. And of course, I can't make taquitos without cheese, so I'm going to add in a couple handfuls of some cheddar cheese. So before I start assembling the taquitos and cooking them, I'm going to get everything else ready. So first I'm going to make some homemade guacamole. I always have a bunch of avocados on hand. That is like the one thing that I keep stocked at all times because I love fresh avocado and guacamole. So for my guacamole, I'm just going to add some garlic salt, onion powder, pepper, and some lime juice. So next I'm going to begin assembling my taquitos. So I warmed up my tortillas in the microwave. I will say, I don't know if I had the worst batch of tortillas or I let these sit out of the fridge way too long, but they were so dry and were just cracking like every single one. Once they were fried up, they were fine, but they definitely didn't make the prettiest taquitos. So next I just put a good amount of oil in a pan and let this heat up on medium high, and I'm just going to place these seam side down, that way they fry closed. Once they were nice and brown, I just went ahead and flipped them. I really just want some of these right now. Once they're done, I just pick them up and drained out the excess grease and oil and then place them on a drying rack to finish cooling. So once they were done, I just went ahead and did the same thing with the second batch. Save the mixture in a bowl for the next day, and then you can just redo this process for leftovers. This is how everything looked when it was done. I just topped it with some queso, lettuce, and that guacamole. My mouth is literally drooling. The next dinner I'm going to be showing you, I made some creamy pesto ravioli. So first I'm going to start off with a frozen bag of ravioli, and I'm just going to place that in some boiling water and let these cook up. This was definitely such an easy dinner, but so delicious, so I'll definitely stock up on these bags. So the bag just said to let them cook for like 6 to 8 minutes. I really don't know how long these cooked, but it was probably about that time. So once they were done, I just went ahead and let them drain. And next I'm going to work on the sauce. So I'm just adding a couple scoops of pesto to a warm pan. Next, to make this a creamy pesto, I'm going to add in some heavy whipping cream. And of course, I'm going to add in some minced garlic for some more flavor. I totally just eyeball everything, so I know I wanted more sauce, so I added a little bit more heavy whipping cream. So then lastly, I'm just going to add in my Parmesan cheese. I love Parmesan cheese and like a creamy pasta. At this point, you can definitely start taste testing and add whatever else you think is needed. So once the sauce was nice and bubbly and ready to go, I just went ahead and added in my raviolis that I had drained. So I'm just going to go ahead and toss this around in a sauce. This is definitely a great like 2-person meal. So when this was just about done, I had some broccoli cooking in the oven. I'm just going to add a little garlic salt on top for a little bit more flavor, and this is basically ready to go. This is how everything looked when it was done. This was so good and literally took like 20 minutes max, so I was super happy about this one. So the last dinner I'm going to be showing you, I made some chicken caprese sandwiches and some french fries on the side. So first, I'm going to start off cooking my chicken. I just cut these chicken breasts in half and seasoned them with just some McCormick chicken seasoning. So I'm just going to cook these on a pan until they are all the way cooked through. So once they were nice and brown on the one side, then I just flipped it. I love the Montreal chicken seasoning. This one took a little bit longer because it was definitely thicker, but I just set these aside on a cutting board and let them rest, and then I worked on cutting up the fresh mozzarella and tomatoes. I definitely was snacking on the mozzarella, like how could you not? So once everything was cut up and ready to assemble, I went ahead and started on the sandwiches. So I'm just going to spread a little bit of mayo, and I'm taking some leftover pesto I had, and I'm just going to mix that together and spread it on both sides of the sandwich. So next I'm just going to begin layering everything. So I cut up that chicken and I'm just going to place that on the bottom, top it with some tomato slices and then that mozzarella, and then I had some fresh basil. So before I started cooking up the sandwiches, I went ahead and got some frozen french fries in the oven just for a quick side. So lastly, it is time to toast this sandwich. So I just sprayed some cooking spray on the bottom, and I'm just going to place the sandwich down and top it with a lid. That way everything kind of closes together. So once it was nice and brown on the one side, I just went ahead and flipped it. That way we can get the other side nice and toasted. This is how everything looked when it was done. This was so good and something that I've been wanting to make for such a long time. Thank you so much for watching this week's What's for Dinner video. Make sure you come back next week for another one.